Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This video is part of a training playlist which is in the description. I want to give you a concept of tables and name manager. In our very first video, I showed you that this is the name box, which tells us what is the name of the box. And this is a table in Excel, a simple table, but in Excel you can convert this to table range. Now, why tables are helpful and why to use them? Well, there are a lot of benefits of using tables. This is just 618 rows. You might have millions of rows, thousands of rows. In that case, whenever you are using very long formulas, you'll have a problem that Excel will slow down. And why? Let me show you a thing here. In here, in summary 1, we are using this sum ifs formula to grab data from this data tab here. In any of these, for example, the first bit here, you're using a data tab for column I. This is column I. You used column I for some range. Then you used column D to look up the kitchen in there. In column D, Excel will go from row 1 to the end of this sheet, which is like 1 million rows, to check if there is kitchen in there. How to limit Excel to only check till here? This is a problem. In irregular data which you just copy paste or add more rows in here, and this is just non-table formatted data, then this slows down the Excel. Then there is another thing, and which is the data tab and column D. You don't know what is column D unless you go here and find that column D is category. To do this, you have to select your data, go to insert and table. It will tell you which range it is. You can always change this, like let's select from top to end, and we have headers, so we'll just tick this and OK. Now this range is converted into a table. What is the benefit of table? First of all, whenever you add anything in there, like let's say we're going to add another row like this and paste here, then you see this formula is updated automatically. There is a end of table, which is this. We can increase this and we'll have more rows, and whenever we add more rows, this formula is simply being copied. I'm just undoing these two steps. So this is the first and most obvious benefit of having a table. Another thing is we multiplied F2 by G2. So let's do this formula again. F2 multiplied by G2. I'm just clicking here, and instead of F2 and G2, it is saying quantity sold and sales price. You see, this is a very good way of presenting formulas, and it is easier in later to check what is what. For example, instead of saying F2, now it is saying quantity sold in this formula, because you defined your data range, you defined your column, and now all of this column is saying that this is quantity multiplied by sale price. So it is easier to read formulas. Now if we go to summary 1 and we want to update this column D again, I'll just get rid of this and we'll go to data and select the column D, A, B, C, D. This is D, and I'll select it like once we move our mouse to the start, it will be a black arrow downward, and we'll click here, or we simply click here and press Control Space. Then it says Table 2 Category. If I scroll down to the end, you can see that instead of selecting all the column, which it normally does, it just selected the exact range. I'll press enter. Now this is a combination of table and other columns, so we'll have to update all of these. Q, this is Q, and the I is this here. Now you see this formula, and this is giving us the same results. There are few benefits. There is another thing I just want to show you, that in table design you can name this table. This is called data, and let's just say we name this as TBL, which is short for table. Now let's go back to summary one, and you can see that some range is data table and total sales column. This is how you can easily read what is going on. This is the most obvious benefit, apparent benefit. Then there is another benefit, which is that your data is limited till here, and whenever you add new rows, formulas will be updated automatically, and this is the most obvious benefit of having tables. Then there is another thing I want to show you, but first of all, I'll just quickly recreate these columns to the new table format, and instead of it says F this, or I mean instead of column labels it says the exact name, so it's easier to read formula. In previous video we got this data from different files, and these are monthly files we get every month, and at the end of each month we'll have more files, and when we press data refresh, it will simply refresh this data and add more if there is any, or if there was a change. So let's use this table instead of this, and recreate all the summaries we did and see what is the benefit of using table. So in here I'll copy the headers which are using formulas. I'll paste here. Whenever you refresh, only this data will be updated, and this will be formulas we are going to introduce. So let's quickly do this. Total sales are quantity sold into sale price. I'll just do this wrap text, and let's update the formatting here, $2. Total cost will be quantity sold into purchase price. Profit per product will be sales less purchase price. You can see instead of A, B, C, the column labels, and 1, 2, 3, the row labels, it is using the exact names. So names are very good for the formulas and for the appearance, and we can easily identify what's going on. Total profit would be sales less costs. Commission, if you remember, was if quantity sold is less than 10, then total profit multiplied by 10%. Otherwise, total profit multiplied by 20%. I'll just auto adjust the width. Our gross profit will be total profit less commission. Years will be year, and this will be date column here, and month will be month, and this date column here. This year month is saying year month 2, you can see here. This is because we already have a year month, and you cannot have same names for two different columns in a table. Therefore, we already have this year month. We'll just update this formatting to. There is another thing I want to show you. Once you update formatting, you go here and you can also type if you know how to do a manual formatting. For example, this was displayed as year, which is, let's say, 2018-MM01. So we don't actually need this column now because this is already there. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Excel tutorials. Again, this video is part of a full training. You can find the link in the description and save the playlist or bookmark. I'll see you soon in next video.